Hello, my friends. Jerry Rosa here in the Rosa String Works Man Cave. Sorry about Friday. I guess it was still working when I quit. The problem was that everyone said, the voice wasn't coming through. And when I looked, and I kept going through the comments. Somebody even made a comment later that said you should read ahead on your comments before you just quit. Well, the reason I went ahead and quit, based on the comments that says the voice is not coming through, was I looked at my indicators down here on my screen, at the bottom of the screen, and they're going up and down like this as I talk right now. Well, they weren't moving when I was, so I thought, well, I guess they're right. It ain't working because that's not moving. So that's why I decided to go ahead and quit the vlog. Just wanted to let you know and straighten it out here, and heck, who knows, it might happen again today. It's not a perfect world here. This is not Hollywood. It's just a PC basically sitting on a desk out here in the middle of nowhere. And we're lucky that we even have electricity, let alone the internet. The weekend was not really eventful here. I didn't get much done. I did work just little bits on the greenhouse, but nothing to really show for it. I just cut some trim boards and some the batten boards and things that I'm going to need the next time I start back on it. The reason I didn't work on it much was, first of all, the weather was kind of ucky. It never really rained or nothing, but it would drizzle here and there, and hardly ever enough to even wet the sidewalk. But the weather just looked bad, and it was super windy, and I just didn't feel like working out there in those conditions, but mainly because I also had to be working on my taxes. And the sad news is, on my taxes, I started out, after I put in all my incomes, you keep in mind, I don't pay anything in at all. Not a dollar, not nothing. And so when you put in all your income, instantly TurboTax says, well, you owe $22,000 in taxes. And I'm going, oh my gosh, that's a lot to overcome. Well, I've overcome it down to about $4,000 right now, and I'm still working on that. And I think I can get it down maybe another 1,000. You never know. I'm trying to do it all legitimate. I don't. I figure what goes around comes around. I don't cheat. If I can find legitimate reasons, I use them. And that's what I'm looking at. I've still got some mileage deductions to go yet for the business, But other than that, I think I've hit the wall. So we'll see how that goes. If you noticed the title, I actually changed the title, so some of you logged in probably before the title changed. I changed the title on today's vlog as a tribute to John Mirage. John Mirage was a good friend. He came here very often and recorded for a number of years. I don't know, I'm going to say 4 or 5 years, maybe longer than that. I don't have a good sense of time when it comes to things like that. But a long time he came, and he wrote all of his own songs. He played all of his own instruments. He didn't do very much singing because he couldn't do it. His singing just didn't work. But he would have other people come in and do singing and things, and he was very creative on his music. But sadly, I wrote the dates down here. March 27th, they're not even sure, I guess, 100% when he had his stroke, but it looks like it was March 27th. They found him a couple of days later. He was still alive. They took him to a hospital. He was in, obviously, intensive type care for many days, and then passed away this past Saturday, the 11th. It's a sad deal because I just thought he was a nice fella. Now, his lifestyle and my lifestyle were totally opposites. I've mentioned John before on the channel here that he was the kind of guy that liked to smoke the wacky tobacco, and I'm sure he liked his alcohol and things like that too. But that just because of the differences, just like political differences. Just because people have differences, that doesn't mean I can't be friends with them and can't like them. And John was one of those guys. I liked him. He was a neat guy, and he was funny and just a really friendly guy and would just about do anything for you, including giving me this shirt. If you can see it there. It says, what would Jerry do? It says, what would Jerry do? And that was a common thing that people were saying in my videos at the time. The comments were coming in quite often, and they would say, what would Jerry do? So John thought that was pretty cool, and he had these shirts made up and gave them to me, and he gave me a bunch of them. And I gave them out to all my grandkids and things. I kept a couple of them. Here's two of the finished recordings that I know we did, and there may have been others. His band was called the Missouri Outlaws, and I'm going to play a couple of tunes off of his stuff. Now, keep in mind, he was pretty much hard rock, so this may not suit some of you, but just pay attention at least to the creativity. This first song I'm going to play two songs. The first one is called Big Dog. The second one is In the Heart of Jesus, which I thought was appropriate. But this first one is very creative in the sense that it's called Big Dog, and of course there is a dog barking in this song. And it's funny because it sounds like a great old big watchdog type deal, and it was just his little terrier is what it was. And we enhanced the sound, we EQ'd it and stuff to try to make the dog sound like a big old rough dog. So listen to this, and we'll go on from there.
Things good. Big dog likes to lie on his grass. If you try to sneak by, he's gonna bite you on the ass. He's a big dog. He's just that. Running with the boys and running with his pack. He's a big dog. He's a big dog. He'll love you till the end. He'll be his best buddy. He'll be your best friend. He's a big dog. Big dog walking in the neighborhood and keeping things right. Keeping things good. A big dog likes to lie on the grass. If you try to sneak by, he's gonna bite you on the ass. He's a big
And incidentally, I forget the fellow's name that was doing the singing there. It might be on the CD somewhere, but these CDs are wrapped. I'm just going to keep them that way. But regardless, you could hear John wrote, the lyrics, and he also recorded all the music, all those parts. He played the drums, he played, the bass, the guitars, everything. So he did all the music. There was some other fella doing the singing on that. I don't remember his name. Now this next tune I'll play for you. By the way, that picture that was in the background, that's just a picture here that I just happened to have on the computer and stuck it up there just to have something there rather than a big old black spot. And that's a picture of the Little Piney River just down there by JR's property, actually. And this next one is called In the Heart of Jesus, and of course he wrote and played all the music and everything, but you might recognize the voice singing on this. It's Emery and her little sister, Grace, and they were pretty young at this time. This was a long time ago. This may have been before Emery and JR were married even. I'm not really sure, but here you go.
As I walk into the garden where the flowers smell so sweet, as I walk upon the green grass so soft against my feet, well, I know this land is blessed. Hear the singing of a lark. Though I live here, it is not my home. My home is in his heart. In the heart of Jesus, where love it overflows. In the heart of Jesus, where we will cry no more. When the day of judgment comes to me, I won't be alone. I'll be with my sweet Jesus, for his heart is my home. As I lay my head down in the night and see the stars above, my heart, it feels like bursting from the presence of his love. And one day I will find my way to heaven's gates. I know that on the other side, sweet Jesus waits. In the heart of Jesus, where love it overflows. In the heart of Jesus, where we will cry no more. When the day of judgment comes to me, I won't be alone. I'll be with my sweet Jesus, for his heart it is my home. In the heart of Jesus, where love it overflows. In the heart of Jesus, where we will cry no more. When the day of judgment comes to me, I won't be alone. I'll be with my sweet Jesus, for his heart it is my home.
Well, rest in peace, John. Yeah, yeah, he'll be missed. He was a good guy. I enjoyed having him in the shop and in the studio. You know, just he was very talented. He could play pretty much anything, and you know, to be able to do all the different parts like that, and he would, you know, I find it difficult. I know good musicians don't, but I find it difficult to lay down one part and then come back and lay down another part and then come back and lay down another part. I can do it, but I find that difficult. He seemed to have no trouble with it at all. Let's see. I did have a short video for you for one little thing I did over the weekend, so take a look at this. My friends, I'm up on the hillside. The field is way down there. I would say I'm close to 100 feet above the field level. And I've been looking for, you know, elm trees along here, but I couldn't find any. Well, here's an oak tree. And looky there. That's a nice one. So then I just stood here and I looked. And then I think I saw another one over here. I know I saw two more somewhere. There's one of them. I don't know if you can see it or not. And there's another one. So there's three right here. I don't know if we'll find any more or not. I'm looking all the way around just in case. But hey, three's better than none, which is what I had before I had three. So I'll promptly cut those out, and I'll look around here. If I see any others, I'll let you know. Well, here's an interesting observation. See that little thing? That's an elm tree. There's a mushroom. There's an elm tree. There's an elm tree. there's a mushroom. There's another little elm tree. These are all volunteers growing there, of course, you know. But that may be a new secret, is to watch for little sprouts. Because, like I said, they always seem to be associated with elm trees. Not 100%, but a great percentage. So there you go. That's what I'm going to be looking for in the future. So I think over the weekend we found, I don't know, five more, something like that. And then I know where there's 2 more that I didn't pick yet that are little tiny ones. And I'm hoping they'll grow back up and get a little bigger. I was hoping for some rain. Sue says, you know, her weather guessers, she pays attention to them. As I told you, I never listen to them. But anyway, she said her weather guessers are saying it's supposed to rain like 4 days in a row. So I said, well, you know what that means? That means it's going to rain for 4 minutes on one of those days. That's pretty much true. That's the way it's been going. It really has. It was supposed to rain several days last week, and it like rained one day for a little while, and I don't even think it made an inch. So anyway, let's go to the comments and see what's going on. Ronald says, hey, Jerry and friends, the Mirage says one thing, but I don't believe it. Remember, keep the hope, the love, the faith, and smile. That's all we can do, I think. Ronald Todd says, good afternoon, Jerry and everyone from the West Banks of New Jersey. Joe Cool says, take a moment to enjoy the afternoon sun. Keep smiling. Feel thankful for this day. Boy, isn't that the truth? And after, you know, like the passing of another friend, it just brings all that stuff home to you. Brian Biscup says, good afternoon from Elgin, Illinois. Wayne Blitz, good afternoon. And Steve Wilczek says, good day, folks. Bill Webb says, good afternoon. Timothy Werblow, good afternoon. Ronald Todd, musically not bad at all. Empress John came in late, he says. All I could hear was a big dog barking. I thought Bob had finally attacked you. Well, and that dog was just a little bitty dog. It sounded like a big dog, didn't it? But I thought that was pretty cool because we worked on that, you know, to bring out the volume and the depth of the sound of that dog. It was just a little bitty thing. So, and then Jeffrey P. says, such a voice. And I guess that's it. I don't see any other comments. Maybe we don't have anybody watching today. Maybe everybody got mad because I stopped on Friday. I don't know. I know some people said they needed a hall pass for the next even for a couple of days maybe. So maybe that's the reason we don't have many comments. But guys, that's all I've got. And so that means I'm going to have to end this. And guess what that means also? I have to get back to working on my taxes. Couldn't I just get a sharp stick in the eye instead? Would that be okay? That's about the way it feels when you're working on your dang taxes. And it's like, you shouldn't put it off to the last minute. Well, I don't know. I get busy, you know. Rod Wentler says, sorry, I just got here. And Michael Tuick says, hey, Rosenmeister, Ronald Todd, thumbs up. Yeah, if you would, please give it a thumbs up. And I don't know if anybody has any desire at all to hear more of John Mirage's music, but if you do, you know, let me know in a future vlog, and we'll play another tune or two. He had a whole bunch of them. He recorded for a number of years in my studio. So, John, you will be missed. Rest in peace, my friend. And Bill Rhodes says, I'm here, and I will see you all tomorrow with something else. Take care.